Hi, sir. How are you?
Yes, hello. I'm good. Thank you so much for asking. And I'm doing good. So, how about you? How are you doing today?
Yes, sir. I am also doing pretty well. Thank you so much for asking. So, as it is our first meeting, so can you please introduce yourself?
Yeah, sure. First, I would say thank you so much for inviting me on your YouTube channel. And it's a wonderful opportunity for me to introduce myself here. So, as my name is Ashutosh Dwivedi, and I'm from Kanpur, Uttar Pradesh. About my education qualifications, I'm pursuing my master's degree in English literature from Kanpur University. Apart from this, I run a YouTube channel based on spoken English conversations, and I help my students to speak English as well. So that's all about myself. Thank you.
Yes, I think you don't need any introduction, but there is a possibility that someone might watch this video for the first time. So it's great to actually the opportunity. It's like my pleasure to have connected with you and to have a conversation with you because I have been, as I said to you earlier, also I have been watching your videos for years now, and I didn't have that courage to go out and speak in this language. So it took me really long to finally come up and start my YouTube channel and also join Englishyaari, the platform to learn English. So okay, so let me first introduce myself and then I will ask questions.
Yes,
So
sure.
my name is Jaya Ghosh. I hail from Kolkata and I'm a working professional. I also run a YouTube channel. It is also about English conversation videos. And in my free time, I love reading books. So that's all about me.
Oh, that's great to hear about you. And of course, I'm really happy that you have started your YouTube channel and you are having the confidence to speak to strangers. That's a wonderful thing about communication. If you are able to speak to somebody who's unknown to you, then for sure you are going to have a good command over this language. So all the best. I would say it's really nice that you have
Thank
done
you, sir.
something good.
Thank you. It means a lot to me. So first, I want to ask you one question that you are pursuing higher studies. You have a very well-known YouTube channel, and you have your family also. So how are you managing all these things? How do you manage time?
Yeah, when it comes to time, I would say I'm pursuing my higher studies nowadays, and I live outside. I'm not living with my family members. The first thing I started living out, from my family from 2012. I was a Navodaya student, so I studied in Navodaya from 2012 to 2019. So completely, I was with my friends, so I got used to it, and I used to have conversation with my friends, but there was nothing you have to give a lot of time to your family. Only you have to focus on your studies, and sometimes you have to enjoy with your friends. So but when then I went to BHU for my graduation degree. Again, I was there in hostel. So but unfortunately, due to COVID-19, I had to come back, and I came back in 2020 due to holy vacation. But after that, it became a long vacation due to COVID. Then I thought of working on my communication skills. So again, in the COVID, it was not a problem for me. I used to have conversation with my family members. I used to enjoy with my sisters. They used to prepare a lot of food for me. So it was a good and great family time. Along with that, I worked on my spoken skill in that period of time. So nowadays also, now I'm doing my masters. Again, I'm living outside in Kanpur city. So I do not have to give a lot of time to my family. I have lesser time to work on my skill or on myself. So that's how I manage, but I try to make a schedule for it. So when I started my journey, I used to have a to-do list. Nowadays, I do not prepare every day. But if I have to do many sessions, I write down that at what time I have to do sessions. So it can be there in my mind for as today you told me in the afternoon. So I wrote in my diary that I have a session at 7:15. So at least I can get a reminder from my mind. Otherwise, I would skip. So that's what I do to manage everything, to keep a note about it, so I can do that in a better manner. Yeah.
Yes. And I think time management is a skill. And like any other skill, you have to develop it over time. Like you have to practice it. It should be a lifestyle and then only it will become a habit someday, I think. And So how did you find your passion? Like I can say that English language is now your passion. So how did you find that? Because most people, find their passion very late in their life. When they are working somewhere and then they, after 5 or 6 years or maybe 10 years of working under a company, they finally realize that no, this is not something that I want to do. I want to do something else. So how did you find that passion of learning English?
Yeah, as you said about your hobbies, like you like reading books. When it comes to my hobbies and passion, I like singing, photography, and playing cricket. So, like as I was there, so always I wanted to see myself as a singer. Then I thought of becoming a cricket commentator or cricketer. I was very passionate about it. But later, like spoken English was not in my bucket list ever. But when I used to listen to my friends, if they would speak in English, sometimes I would feel like, are they from Mars or any other planet? Why am I am not able to speak English? It was always fascinating to me, like speaking or listening to the foreigners. And I used to ask my brother that why, Britishers or foreigners, they speak in a way that I'm not able to understand. But it used to fascinate me a lot. So that was the passion in my mind, but I was not working for it. Then when I went to BHU, I had seen few of my classmates, girls, they used to speak in a maybe the meeting, and I used to feel really good because everyone would clap for them. They would listen to their point very carefully. But if you speak in Hindi, they would not give everybody would not be giving that much attention to it. Then I got in my mind I should work on my communication skills as well. So because as I heard from Warren Buffett, he said in a short video that if you want to improve yourself 50% better than yourself right now, like you are, then you should work on your communication skills. So it's important for all kind of age groups. There is no matter like if you're 60, 40, 30. So then I thought, of course, it's very important for me to work on my communication skills as well. But I had no time as I was there in BHU. So I used to study. I was a student of BCom honors accounting. So I did not have a leisure time to work on my spoken English, and no environment was there, to be honest. So, but when I came back to my hometown, then I thought of working on on something which can give me the benefit in the future. And I had a lot of leisure time in COVID. Then I thought of practicing on spoken English, and I started enjoying it. I used to have 20 conversations, 25 conversations in a day through WhatsApp groups, through Buddy Talk, Hello Talk. I have used many platforms, more than 8 or 10. I was not afraid. Being a girl for you, it is not safe and secure because sometimes people are really, I think I would say, out of sense. They talk nonsense. But for me, always I was was there with the one mindset that something is better than nothing. Always that you cannot get environment of America or Europe or like in England here, right in India. So then I practiced. When I started practicing, I started listening to people's stories, and that gave me a lot of confidence, and that's how I learned. And then people started asking me about my just journey, that how you learned it. That gave me a lot of happiness. That wow, that people are asking about you, Ashutosh. Nobody nobody asked you this kind of questions. So at that point of time, I was really happy. Then I thought of making this passion into profession. Like few students, they approached me that Ashutosh, can you be my trainer? I said, of course I can try. I do not have any experience. But they said, no worries, I will tell you like how you can guide me, and I will provide you the content. And that's how I started training students. Then from passion it became the profession for me. And then I thought it's really good that I do not have listen to somebody. I am not working under someone. I'm the boss of myself. So then I started working on it.
Yeah, I think that is the beauty of freelancing. You can do whatever you want at your own time. So that is a great thing. And do you feel sometimes bad that you have somehow changed your stream and now you have been doing masters in English literature? Um, so do
I
you
don't
feel bad
feel bad
sometimes?
anytime, but sometimes when my parents or society tells me that you can go for CA, you were a good student. Of course, even though I had applied for chartered accountancy course, but due to some financial condition and COVID-19, I was not able to pursue that. So when my relatives or maybe some of the neighbors, they would say that you had a great chance to go for maybe the MBA or IIMs or like this CA, then I would feel bad for a moment because I was a good student of Navodaya. I was a good accountancy student, I would say. But after that, I feel like it's really important to find something which you like a lot. And even though I like talking to the people, so this gives me more happiness. And after a certain point of time, I thought I wouldn't be happy if I would be working on computer, making balance sheets and working for the companies auditing, and that's a tedious task, playing with the numbers and many things. So but it's really like, I would say energizing, talking to new people every day, knowing about their lifestyles, how they live, and you understand a lot of things. I am training people who are double than my age. So I learned a lot of things from them. I'm not training people who are
Yes.
kids. So most of them are professionals. So I learned a lot of things from them. So that's why I thought it's better to continue this.
And I think people will keep on saying anything, and you don't need to think about them, because they will not be with you when you really need them. It's only your family and your close friends and your near and dear ones that will who will be there with you in thick and thin. So yeah, it happens with everybody actually. When I used to study and I was preparing for government exams, it took quite a lot of time for me to finally crack one. So that time also my relatives were keep on asking questions. What are your daughter doing? Why is she outside? What is the reason that it's taking so long? So there are various questions that they ask, because it's not that they really want to know the reason. It's just that I think they try to irritate you somehow, like
Yeah.
to poke you all the time. So yeah. So
Yeah,
I think
exactly. It's very important to find something in your life which you like a lot, and that cannot replace all those things. Like even though if you get a lot of money, that's a different perspective. But if you enjoy doing whatever you do, that gives you more satisfaction, I would say. So we should go forward with the satisfaction rather than going for more money.
yeah, and most IIM graduates, they finally become monks. So let's not think about that and just follow your passion, follow your dreams. So yeah, so the next question that I have for you is, so you have been practicing for quite a long time, and what do you think helped you a lot to improve your communication skills? Was it taking a lot of sessions in a day, or maybe like working on your mistakes? So like doing homework and working on your mistakes. So what was that?
Yeah, as far as I remember, I started my journey on 29th April 2020. So it's been 4 years. I have completed 4 years. So, what I did a lot, I used to follow the formula 80-20 like kind of thing. I used to give like 80% for speaking, 20% for listening a lot. So means I used to listen, but I used to speak more because, okay, I can understand, I can write. I was a good student of English subject, right? But I was not good in speaking. So it's better to speak whatever is there in your mind. When I started my journey, I used to have a lot of things in my mind, but I was not able to speak them, right? So what was the fault? That was speaking. That I had to speak more and more. So I started speaking to the people. That helped me a lot by listening to them as well. Because when you talk to somebody who's in the same field or same way, they give you a lot of good suggestions. So I practiced many things like tongue twisters. I used to speak out loud, shadowing, recording myself, speaking in front of camera, thinking and giving motivation to myself, like self-talk. That if Malala Yousafzai can do something great at this age, why can't I? Like greater than work is that. So I was always motivating myself because it's a journey of motivation. If you lose your confidence, you will not be able to go forward because all the time people would try to pull your leg as well, that why are you trying to become an American, why are you trying to become an Angrage, or because sometimes if you have a little different accent also, people would mock you and they will troll you a lot. So that used to happen with me. They used to say, are you from Australia? Like, why are you trying to become an American, man? Like, you're Indian. I would say, yes, I'm an Indian. Like, from an accent, nobody can be like the American or Australian, right? It's our choice. Maybe we like it, and sometimes I used to imitate all those things. So but I practiced all those activities which were mentioned were my co-learners or my friends, that practicing in front of camera, thinking in English, writing in English, recording in English. So I tried everything because I had a lot of laser time in COVID-19. So that's what helped me to improve. And like along with that, I used to follow teachers like Bob the Canadian, Lucy, Vanessa, Lingu Marina, AJ Hope, many people. Yeah.
Yes, yes. And how now that you're studying English literature, so how that subject? I know that communication English is completely different than English literature, but is it helping you? I mean, I'm sure it is helping you. So, how are you like? How are you taking help from your English literature? Like, do you take any like phrases and idioms and different like advanced vocabularies, those that are not being used by other youtubers, because nowadays there are many youtubers who have their english related channels. And so one if I sometimes if I watch someone using a particular word, I can see many youtubers use that particular word in their conversation. So it's like a craze. Like, oh, she's using this word, so I have to like incorporate this word while communicating in English. So do you also try to do that? Because you have, I think you have a quite a lot of vocabulary, stock of vocabulary.
But when it comes to me, I want to make myself easygoing and simple speaker. I don't want follow like trained and crazy words. I would say like complex words. I don't want to go for them. I don't follow the train for that. I want to convey my message. That is very important for me. When it comes to master's degree, I wanted to have a degree. This was only my desire. But I'm not very much into degree reading Shakespeare or Ruskin Bonds and everything, going very deep into it, because I found myself into practical English, speaking to people, knowing about their problems related to spoken English. Because spoken English is really different from doing masters in English literature. What I found, yeah, there is no, because an uneducated person can speak English, right? If he lives in America, right? So it is totally practical, like about your environment. So I'm not very much into it. I don't want to go for a lot of idioms and things. I want to convey my messages with a good thought process. That's what I focus on, I would say. So I do not go for very tough, and because if people are not, because I'm not addressing to the people who are living in America or US or Australia. I'm addressing to the beginners, intermediate people who live in India and they want to learn English. So I should speak the English that they can understand, and they can try to learn from it. Otherwise it is going to be very difficult for them to understand what I'm trying to say. So if I'm speaking a single word and explaining that into 3 lines, I don't really think so it makes any sense, because these are conversational videos. Maybe if I make specific videos for phrases and idioms, then it's fine to use and tell them the meaning and where to use it. But in conversations, we should use like simple English so everybody can understand. That's what I think.
Yeah. So our main motto is to convey our message clearly and with accuracy. Because
Yeah, and
fluency
we
is
are
nothing
non-native
but to
speakers of English. We are not native speakers of English, right? Even though
yes,
we do not use a lot of idioms and phrases in our language, like Bangla, like you are the Bangla speaker.
yes,
I don't really think so. Nowadays, young people use a lot of old things. Old people I seen, like the 50, 60, they use a lot of idioms and many things, like but young people, they do not use it for their native language as well. Then why should we use it for English?
yes. I think native speakers do not use idioms, but here and there they might use one or two phrases.
Yeah, sometimes. But what I
Yeah.
understood from myself, even though I'm a Hindi speaker, but I do not use a lot of old things or yeah, like
Mm.
this idioms and phrases. Like it's uncomfortable for other as well. Like even though we are Hindi native speakers, but we are not very much good into understanding Hindi, like a typical Hindi. So we try to
Yeah.
use simple Hindi. So
Yeah, because sometimes because my husband is from English medium school, and so Bengali subject was his third language. So he didn't know much. He doesn't know much about Bengali. So sometimes he asks me that what is this word. So suppose he is reading a book, like a story book written by a very
mhm.
famous author, and he uses a very hard word that I also don't know the meaning of. Then he asks me that, Are you have studied in Bengali medium, you also don't know the meaning, so how can I read this book? So I said, keep it like keep it for now, and then just study different words in Bengali, and then you can go on reading this. So it happens with us in English, in terms of English, because whenever I take a book to read, sometimes, so actually I bought one book that was recommended to me by one of my friends. So the Immortals of Meluha, the Naga
Mhm.
series trilogy. So
Mhm.
so there are three books in that trilogy, and the first two pages I took like forever to read two pages, because there were a lot of words that I didn't know. Like in one particular sentence, there were three words that are unknown
Mhm.
to me. So whenever I start reading, I used to get demotivated and I left it. But then I realized that no, if I can read the two pages, then I think I can complete the whole book. So
Yeah.
that's how I self motivate myself to read that. And I wrote those words in a notebook, and then I wrote the meaning of it, and then I read those two pages. And after that, I saw that the book was pretty much easy. Like there were no other hard words. So the first two pages were actually the description. So it has to be like uh, so the author has to use those particular words because he was narrating a particular situation, narrating a place. So so that's how it is. Like we think that oh, it's too hard and we cannot speak in English, so we
Mhm.
should not try and waste our
Yeah,
time.
and it
But
depends on a person to person as well. Everybody likes a different genre about writing as well. And sometimes people like sometimes some writers are there they write really simple. But some writers, like if you are going to read, of course, Shakespeare, it would be problem for you. You would not be able to understand him easily, right? Because
yeah,
he is like poetic man with a great vast knowledge of English language, right? So if a person like who is a beginner in English, and if you would suggest him to read Shakespeare, of course he is going to be demotivated. So it's better to ask him to read some simple and very simple the storybooks. So it is not something that if you're not able to read and understand Shakespeare, you would not be able to speak English. No meaning, no link with it. Sometimes people think that if I'm not able to understand a novel, then how can I speak English? No, not at all. That's a totally different thing. Writing has that very different perspective from speaking. So that's what I would say. So everybody should go for books related to about their level actually. So it's about the level, at what level they are.
yes, absolutely, absolutely.
And
And
literature
but
students, they read books like in a whole day. I have seen many people who have been, they have a reading habit for 40 years, 45 years. They complete like two books, three books in a month. So they get that level to read all those writers. If somebody who's reading book for a 45 years, if he would recommend me a book, it would be difficult for me to understand because he thinks it's easy for him, but for me it
yes,
is going to be very difficult to understand, right?
yes, 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 absolutely. And so, what do you think? Right now, you are at a level that you can speak on any given topic with accuracy, and you have also achieved fluency. So, are you satisfied?
Yeah, I'm happy with myself. And I believe and accept one thing that nobody is perfect and nobody can be perfect. And this is a language. So this is lifelong learning journey. Every day you can learn something new. And confidence is all about practicing every day. Whenever you just, if I'm talking to you as well, it is going to add a little more confidence in my speaking, right? So it is all about the continuous process because when you make it as a profession, so like and always you learn something new. So I'm happy with myself, but always I want to be better.
Yes. So, there are always room for improvements.
Why not? And this is a language, so sure.
And people have their days when they feel really low and demotivated that no, I am at the same level from where I have started. So, what should they do to motivate themselves? What do you want to say to them?
Yeah, it's very important for them to do not compare themselves with Sashi Tharoor, okay? Because Sashi Tharoor is a different personality, and I have seen a lot of learners. They wanna they want to speak English like a Sashi Tharoor. Always they compare themselves to him, and that's a very difficult thing because he was in London, he studied from there, and he's a speaker, so he learns a lot of words to speak like that in the that parliament, or specifically he prepares for it. So you are not, you should know your goal, that why are you learning English. That if you want to become a Shashi Tharoor, then for sure follow the whatever he does. So the motivation is really important, that you can record yourself like the first day, and after 3 months you can record yourself. You would see the difference. I'm able to see the difference because I have been running a YouTube channel for 3 years, right? Now I'm able to see the difference clearly. The first video and the video what I make now. At least I'm little better. Maybe I'm not a native speaker. And I know one thing, that I cannot be a native speaker because I'm not from America, or I'm not for Australia, from Australia. So only you can think you are a non-native speaker, and you can learn as much as you can. So motivation is all about, you can express yourself to somebody who's in the same journey. They will tell you the same thing, that so that's why it's better to get a trainer and ask them personal questions and doubts. So they tell you that how they learned and what was the problem with them also. So then you feel satisfied that it's completely normal. Sometimes we go to the doctors and we tell the problem, this is happening to us, and doctors say okay, it's okay. Then we get the satisfaction, yeah, doctor said that. The same thing with the English, like, if you go to your trainers and tell the thing, they will say it's okay, you get these things. So then you feel okay. So get somebody who's better than you, who's a good friend of yours, and if you can explain your problems to him, so he can give you good suggestions, or maybe he can give you like sympathy or empathy, so that can be good for you to motivate yourself.
Yes. Okay. So actually, I learned a lot from you. The video, I think I have a lot of questions, but I cannot ask. The video will be, too long. So I think let's just wrap up here. And like many other people, you are also an inspiration to me as well. And we also think like if he can improve, then we can also improve. And maybe someday, people will look up to me as well. That if he can improve, then we can also improve. So yeah.
Why not?
So thank you
Exactly, of
so much.
course. So yeah, pleasure mine. All the best and keep practicing. Thank you so much for inviting.
Thank you, sir. Bye.